Okay, so we're experimenting with some different formats here as we are redoing this video, which is going to be called "Drawing Batman the Bob Kane Way." And I've only seen two corroborated images that were actually drawn by Bob Kane of Batman that were drawn by Bob Kane. Well, actually three counting the original, which we'll go through today. But obviously, he was on a program called Drawing Comics with Stan Lee, and he demonstrated his loose ability to draw things, starting with the profile on Batman, which it's kind of actually neat to see the tricks that he used for drawing Batman, because you know there are some very simple and easy to use measures. So this is kind of similar to the one that he did without looking, quote unquote, you know. And one of the interesting and unusual things is kind of like the different ways that Batman has been done with or without. I want to say with bigger ears, smaller ears, all kinds of different things. And this is something that Kane liked to do also, is this little circle above and below the eyes. That way you can fill in this area all black and then still maintain the character of the subject. So these are some kind of quick and easy ways of doing the character when he was put on the spot. If you're familiar with some of the Batman controversy, which I discussed in the earlier video, but we'll go over again because I'm not sure if I'm going to publish those. Bob Kane was, accused of largely plagiarizing Batman and ripping it off of Bill Finger, or not crediting him enough as a co-creator of the comic. And Bill Finger was credited as the writer, and Bill Finger made some suggestions to the original Batman concept, which I guess later on eventually made it. So that's a pretty good Batman, right? That's almost a little better than the one that Bob Kane did without looking. But granted, he wasn't looking. When he was asked to do the one while looking, he started with some circles. So he does this, and then I think he does this, actually. And then he comes up here. He goes like this. And Batman, like I said, I like the Michael Keaton neck that just kind of, blends in there. This is the tricky part, because this is where I stop remembering whatever the hell Bob Kane was doing, and then I have to start doing it on my own. But he favors this kind of square jaw. This is actually looking more like the Bruce Timm Batman now. And then I think right here is where you'll have the eyes. And then, oh man, he does kind of a very friendly looking Batman. Yeah, I'm greatly improvising here as I have to. Yeesh. Yeah, I know, I didn't quite deliver, yeah. But these two little circles, or three circles, is more or less how he does it. And of course, like I said, those little, headlights on Batman are really good for being able to, fill in the black later, and still maintain the lines. The other way to do it is to make him blue, which I never really fully liked seeing Batman blue, even though I got a few figures of him being blue. But this is actually some great, character development on Batman that I didn't know would turn out so well, even though... he does his stuff. Bob Kane does have his talent. He wasn't like completely untalented. He had something that he was able to take to the comic book company, in this case what later became DC, and pitch them on something that he thought was interesting and that they thought was interesting, and they saw that Superman had just become a big hit at the time, and so now suddenly Batman was the big deal, and they liked Batman so much, and Batman was successful that they subleased him, God damn it, they contractually obligated him for so many Batman comics over the years. The only problem is that Bob Kane couldn't draw so well, or he couldn't draw so well to produce the amount of comics that he was asked to. So he may have started doing the original comics, in which Batman was more or less looking like this. Actually, the original Batman that you see on the cover. I want to save some space because before we finish this video, we are going to get into the original look of Batman again, which I covered in one of the previous videos, so maybe I don't need to cover it again here. But Batman kind of looks like this. The 1940s serial was actually pretty close to the original Batman as he appeared, and like I said, the ears are different sizes. The ears used to kind of point out to the side like this. And there was also a lot of black on the image originally before Bob Kane learned how to make that kind of maybe smoother Batman. Originally, he was just kind of black. And, you didn't see a whole lot of spotlight on him. And I'm doing it with a dry erase marker, so it's not even as good as the more primitive early Batmans were able to look. But like I said, the Batman comics were accused heavily of so-called plagiarism, which unfortunately, like I said, is just kind of, it's just kind of a thing in comic books. Is like the creators take from one another. They lift a lot of scenes, and as time goes by and money changes hands, some of the more innocent things, which were entertaining and made money, become taken to court in the legal battles. I don't think anyone ever brought a legal battle against Bob Kane while he was still alive. But obviously, years later, and after he had died, people came out more openly about what they really thought about him. And this is kind of an interesting subject, like I said, something to research as to when exactly did that become a thing that everyone started talking about Bill Finger and everything. The one thing I will say about Bob Kane is he almost never talks about Bill Finger. So he does kind of lord the credit over for himself. He also takes credit for creating the Joker, even though that appears to have been done by Jerry Robinson. And I'm going to give this Batman a big kind of Ben Affleck chest, Ben Affleck's not everybody's favorite Batman, and he's not my favorite either, but he turned out to have a surprisingly good movie, at least for the first incarnation, But this is actually, it's almost like a 40s version of Ben Affleck. I forget the actor who played him in the original. But they had Robin. They didn't have any of the villains, which was disappointing. Gave him a bit of a large tummy. That shows you maybe some clue as to what my portions were like. But anyway, there's Batman. There's Batman done the strange way. Give him the one thing he always had, which it wasn't always featured on the serials, but was featured in the comics from the very beginning in the original drafts, was that belt. Batman always had the belt. So, now that I've done any of those, actually I kind of want to finish this one. It's sort of hard to do the video and I not want to draw. I gotta hold the camera and do the drawings at the same time. Oh man, this one had a lot of potential that kind of went to shit. Sorry about that. I like these two though. These two are really kind of cool. So there's your 40s Batman. There's your later Bob Kane pinups. And this is the original Batman. We're going to try to... Alright, so the original Batman was had kind of a Flash Gordon type of look. Let's see how fast we can draw him. He had a little burglar mustache, burglar mask, a hamburglar type mask rather than a full-on cowl. Square jaw, kind of like a surfer boy or whatever, And the wings are actually much bigger. We're under exaggerating them again. Looks like that. Big, kind of beefy guy. Would have been awesome if he still had the bat symbol here, but he didn't. He was also red and black, not red and not gray and black. And actually, to be honest, red and black was an interesting color choice, as we will later see in some of the alternate incarnations of Batman, and particularly when his father becomes Batman in one of the alternate universes. I don't think the original Batman had the gloves, but since that's the way I want to draw him, I'm just going to draw him with some big old gloves right there. And obviously, Bill Finger was the writer, and he is appropriately credited in the comics as being the writer. So a lot of the story development and things Batman believed in and did were Bob Kane, not Bob Kane, Bill Finger. But Bill Finger saw this version of the drawing of Batman from Bob Kane, and then when Bill Finger saw this, he suggested something more like that. Bill Finger suggested the cowl, the ears, the black cape. He suggested a change in the color scheme, and I don't know whose decision it was for the rest of it, but obviously it was a collaboration. And it was definite collaboration, which Bob Kane did not necessarily. He did not give Bill Finger any credit. Uh, so anyway, there's my Batman, and enjoy.